right, well, good morning, everyone. I wasn't expecting a standing room only crowd, but apparently we've done that, so that's very exciting. So, look, welcome to the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage. We've been here a number of times. Brown-Forman uses facility pretty often here, but I've never seen it in an occasion like this, and how I know how excited we all are to celebrate some of the things we're going to talk about today. So, look, it's an honor to be here today. I'm joined by some of Louisville's strongest and best community leaders. Got a lot of friends and colleagues out here, and I'm really excited to see you all today, and hopefully we can celebrate this today also. We also have our mayor from our hometown here of Louisville, and a lot of other distinguished guests, so welcome to everyone. Look, Brown-Forman has called Louisville its home now for 150 years, 151 years actually. We've been down on Dixie Highway in this neighborhood, not more than a few blocks from here, for 98 years. Moved here in 1924 in the middle of Prohibition, which I still find interesting that they made that big of a bet in the middle of Prohibition to keep the company going, but obviously that worked well. But our deep roots in this community really call us to make this neighborhood the focus of our philanthropic investments and our community building activities, and we're going to follow through on that. With this belief in mind, the Brown-Forman Foundation, alongside Brown-Forman Corporation, has declared its aspiration to be better and to do better as individuals, leaders, and neighbors in the Louisville called our West Louisville home. Today's announcement is another step in that journey and our commitment to positive change here in Louisville. As a company, we believe that quality education from cradle to career is vital to lifelong success. That's why we've increased our focus in recent years, really focused more on education with a heavy emphasis on this part of town, and that's where we believe we can do the most benefit and provide the most opportunities for our hometown. So today we're going to announce we are investing an incremental $50 million into the West End of Louisville. It gives me goosebumps to even say that, if I'm honest, but an incremental $50 million over the next 10 years to 5 local organizations. But what is different this time, I think, that even in my mind and in the way that I think philanthropy, the direction that I think as a city we need to go, and it's taking a longer-term commitment from those that can do it. I did not understand, or I probably didn't appreciate how hard it is on some of these organizations to year after year after year come hat in hand and asking for more money. It's very difficult to build any kind of a long-term plan when your security just isn't there and you're not sure if you're going to be able to fund the programs that you want to do. So what we hope is this 10-year commitment really does, for the 5 organizations, allow you to plan a little bit more for the long term, hopefully leverage this to be able to do other things, and we'll get other companies in the community to help out too. But that is the big difference this time, and I think and I hope and I believe that that will be the best we can do for the community. So we want to really do a lot for the group and for the community, and we want to follow through on the commitments that we have made in recent years, and this is just part of that. So, but today we want to make sure the focus is not on Brown-Forman, but it's on the partners that we are working with and what they can do in the community. Each of these leaders in their organizations are the ones doing the important, the effective, and the critical work to advance educational opportunities and improve the lives of the students in our community. They're the ones that are training and preparing the next generation of leaders for this town. So let me talk for just a second on some of the organizations themselves, and then I'm going to let each of them come up here and talk for a minute. So Brown-Forman has identified 5 partner organizations. The first is AMPT, which will expand its out-of-school time program offerings. The Louisville Central Community Center, in support of Miniversity Child Development Program, which provides health and education equity for infants and preschoolers. We're also pleased to support the Louisville Urban League, and their educational programs that directly address the achievement gap that adversely affects Black and brown students in this community. And Simmons College of Kentucky, to assist in the development the development of its teacher education program that prepares licensed secondary school teachers and addresses the racial inequities in the local and regional public schools. And finally, we're working with the West End School and its academically rigorous school, complete with wraparound counseling, enrichment, extracurricular activities, and invaluable mentorship. Okay, so before we introduce each of our partner organizations, I want to acknowledge our elected leaders who are here today. I know we have J. Michael Brown, Secretary of the Governor Beshear's Executive Cabinet. We have members of the Kentucky Legislature, Metro Council, as well as representatives from our Kentucky federal delegation. We also have officials from the city of Shively and other locally elected officials and policymakers. And if you're one of the folks that I just mentioned, would you please stand and receive our gratitude for your attendance and support today. Okay, and I also want to thank Mayor Greg Fisher for joining us today. Mayor, I know you've got a few words to say before we bring the other groups up here, so please join.
Good morning, and thank you, Lawson. I do want to recognize Senator Gerald Neal over here since we're in his district. Thank you, Senator, for all the good work that you do. And really want to thank Brown-Forman and the Brown-Forman Foundation for inviting me here to share this exciting city-shaping news that we have in front of us. In addition to its high-quality spirits, Brown-Forman is known for its culture of caring, compassion. I think they're one of the greatest companies in the world because they have the whole package of taking care of their customers, their stakeholders, their community, their shareholders, and you just don't see many companies like this anymore. And it's a great testament to them, their generosity, the fact that they've stayed here on 18th Street for all these years. As you know, many companies decided to move east or move elsewhere, but they've always believed in the West. And I think we owe Brown-Forman a really big round of applause for their good work here. Thank you. Thanks, Campbell. So when you think about what they've done, they've been very generous in terms of investing in and bringing jobs to the California neighborhood, being a title sponsor for the Mayor's Give-A-Day celebration, committing to helping our environment by reducing its emissions, or great announcements like this one here today. This fits because what we're seeing is great momentum in the West. We're seeing historic levels of investment flowing into West Louisville neighborhoods. It's now more than $1.4 billion in capital projects announced, completed, or under construction in these past 10 years. So it's like good news and bad news. The good news is like this is the most that's ever happened in the city's history. The bad news, it's taken this long to get it done. And I say it's a down payment for all the investment that's going to come after this. So congratulations to everybody that's been involved with this. Because after decades of disinvestment and redlining in the West, we're definitely coming back. You can see that with the redevelopment of Beecher Terrace, the planned Opportunity Campus from Goodwill and Norton Healthcare, the villages at West Jefferson, Norton Healthcare Sports and Learning Center, and many, many more projects, the Y at 18th and Broadway. It continues on and on. So supporting and partnering with community-based and community-led organizations is key, that partnership to bring all this together. So when you think about these 5 organizations here today and what they've achieved over this past decade and beyond, it's truly inspiring. And Lawson's right. It is tough when every year you're having to go around and say, okay, how about this year? How about this year? Because there's a lot of competition for these dollars. So proven performance is so key to selecting partners. And AMPT, and LC3, and Louisville Urban League, Simmons College of Kentucky, and the West End School. These are organizations that have been tremendous leaders, proven performers, advocates for West Louisville, and they are a success. And we're going to build on top of that success as well. I want to thank each and every one of them for the great work that they've done and the inspiration that they've served, oftentimes in face of daunting challenges that they continue to work through each and every day and play the long game. I also want to remind everybody, too, about the Evolv 502 Scholarship Program. I just want to bring that up because that has been a great community achievement over these last several years. We now have promised scholarships college scholarships available to every JCPS student going down to the 8th grade now. So there's no financial constraint to getting a post-secondary education at any Kentucky Community and Technical College or Simmons College of Kentucky. And we know that the number one barrier or the number one disruptor of poverty is a post-secondary degree or a credential. So remind your kids about Evolv 502. So lifelong learning is one of our city's core values, and today's announcement is just another fantastic boost for Louisville to truly becoming a city where everybody, no matter where they live, no matter what their zip code is, no matter what they look like, has the opportunity to reach their full human potential. So once again, I want to give a big, big thank you to one of the world's greatest corporations with Brown-Forman and the Brown-Forman Foundation for their generosity and great corporate citizenship. And I want to congratulate once again all these deserving organizations. Congratulations, everybody.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor. Now we are going to hear from each of the organizations just for a couple of minutes to let them talk through some of the things that they're going to be doing here over the next decade or even longer. So let me start with Dave Krister of the Executive Director of AMPT as our first speaker. So thank you.
So thank you all for very much for everything. So before I get started, I will ask that our staff and board members please stand to be acknowledged because they do the work, please. Because contrary to popular belief, there's no such thing as self-made. Everybody needs somebody, and so we don't do this alone, along with our community partners. Ed would like to thank Brown-Forman and specifically Ralph Deshabert, Jill Horn, and Sean Waxman for your trust in and support of AMPT. Brown-Forman has always been more than just a financial supporter of AMPT. The employees of Brown-Forman have gone above and beyond to support AMPT through volunteering. Why is today so incredibly important? The term asset framing is looking at a group of individuals and seeing and acknowledging the positive in them, focusing on their strengths and potentials. Asset framing is what allows AMPT to see not broken youth and adults, but instead we see willing and capable youth and adults who are worthy of investment, so we invest. I am proud to say that since AMPT was founded in 2014, we have not been disappointed by the people that we are blessed to serve. Trust-based philanthropy is the idea that people and organizations closest to the problem are in the best position to create and implement effective and lasting solutions to those problems, and that they can be trusted by the philanthropists to hold the resources needed to implement the solutions. Trust-based philanthropy is what allows Brown-Forman to make such a large, significant, and game-changing investment in a small, boots-on-the-ground nonprofit like AMPT and others. Brown-Forman fully understands the need to trust the people working daily in the community, but also, as importantly, they understand the need for significant investments in the organizations who serve there. Significant investments over significant spans of time create sustainable and effective programs that go beyond Band-Aid solutions and instead create solutions that solve problems. Thank you, Brown-Forman. We are grateful for your partnership. And thank you to our amazing and caring AMP staff and board of directors for doing the work each and every day. Thank you.
Okay, and next we have Kevin Fields, President and CEO of the Louisville Central Community Centers.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Today's announcement is truly a blessing, not only for today, but for the next 10 years. On behalf of Louisville Central Community Centers, our board of directors who are here, our staff, wave your hands, and most of all, on behalf of the families and children we serve, I say to Brown-Forman, thank you. Thank you, Lawson Whiting. Thank you, Ralph Deshabert. Thank you, Jill Horn. And thank you to your entire company for being a great corporate citizen for our entire community, and especially today for West Louisville and my beloved Russell neighborhood. I also want to say a big thanks and well-deserved congratulations to my colleagues, Dave Christopher for the awesome economic empowerment work he's doing at AMPT, and the Russell Business Tech Incubator, our phenomenal Urban League executive, Sadiqa Reynolds, for all she does to lift up and transform Louisville's Black community. To my pastor and dear friend, the Reverend Dr. Kevin W. Cosby, who is showing Louisville and the rest of America why it is important and in our best interest to have a strong HBCU in our city, and we know that Simmons Nation is on the rise. And to my friends at West End School, to Dan Hall, Dwight Branford, and of course the founders, Robert and Deborah Blair, for being a true beacon of hope and prosperity for young boys. Brown-Forman's tremendous investment in Louisville Central's Mini-Versity Child Development will provide our community's most economically fragile families with access to quality child care and services located within our historic Russell neighborhood. It also supports our vision to advance equity by creating a new one-stop family services model that co-locates prenatal, birthing, and postpartum doula services for expecting mothers alongside pediatric health care, alongside high-quality early child development, all located within our underserved marketplace of West Louisville. The strategic goals for this investment involve increasing the capacity of credentialed child development specialists to accommodate increasing enrollment by paying livable wage opportunities for advancement. It will also enhance early education classrooms and instructional curricula with emphasis on trauma-informed care and healthy brain development. It will also enhance parent education and engagement programs through the hiring of family services coordination staff, and also it will improve the environmental conditions of our facility through building system upgrades and transform playground areas. Last but not least, it will support our long-range planning toward the co-location and integration of prenatal, postpartum, and pediatric health services. I cannot thank Brown-Forman enough for hearing our cry, for recognizing the needs of our community's most fragile population, and for empowering us with much-needed resources in support of our longstanding agency mission. For that, again, I say thank you.
Okay, next, Sadiqa Reynolds, CEO of the Louisville Urban League.
Good morning. Listen, I wear flip-flops every day, but you called me about $5 million, I got these heels on today. COVID has freed me from the dress code, but I'm dressed today. And I am so happy and so thankful. Congratulations to my colleagues up here. Thank you, Jill. This has been, as far as I'm concerned, 5-6 years in the making. We have worked hard on this. Lawson, thank you so much for your commitment. Ralph, what a way to retire. Thank you so much. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge my staff that is in the building. If you could stand, and also board members, please, of the Louisville Urban League, if they could stand, I would appreciate it. David Tandy, if you are married to a board member, you can stand too. And my favorite board member today, especially Dwight Haygood, if you could stand again. He's an employee of Brown-Forman and also on our board. He chairs the nominating committee. And I want to say thank you also to the board of the foundation of Brown-Forman. Thank you all so much for your faith in the Urban League and for believing in us and for believing in the work. It really does matter, and I appreciate that so much. I want to tell you honestly, that old-fashioned I'm going to drink tonight is going to hit a little different. It's going to hit a little bit different tonight. We are using this funding. I made a decision with the full support of my team that we were no longer going to be about recreating the wheel. There are things that people in middle class and upper class families have access to that poor people simply don't have access to. And we are going to pay for those things for our students. So we are doing intensive tutoring services. It is expensive. It costs us about $5,000 a student. it is very much worth it. We are doing reading and math. We are already seeing differences, and we are going to continue that work. This will help us expand it. We're not doing 50 different things. We are going to use this money for intensive tutoring services. We are going to change outcomes for students in this community. We will expand and expand and expand. That's what we need this for. That's what we ask for. That is exactly what we're going to do. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to say to the folks at Brown-Forman that it does matter that this is a long-term commitment, because it is hard to go out every day and try to raise money, and some say yes or some say no, we funded you last year. It is very difficult to plan, and we are really trying to change an entire community. We don't just want to do the Band-Aid work. We are really trying to do long-term change work, and the way you do it is to invest long-term. So while it took us a while to get here, I celebrate the fact that we are here and that we are in this together for the long haul, and that we are partners in this work, and that you believe as much as we believe. And I tell you, we are going to be able to count the number of students whose reading and math scores changed because of this investment. We are going to be able to see, the mayor brought up Evolv 502, which I'm on the board of as well. We are going to see that career, that cradle to career pipeline filled. We are making a difference, and this is going to help. This is not a small thing. And so I say to Brown-Forman and to all of you here, let's keep going. The world is so divided right now. Things are so tough right now, and we seem to be inclined to turn on one another. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, I don't mean don't speak your truth, because this is what I love about Brown-Forman. They were created during Prohibition, so they've been hellraisers, okay? So you didn't have no option but to invest in me and the league, because that's what we do. So you have to commit to the truth, but you also have to recognize where we can come together and where we can align, and that is what Brown-Forman has done. You have honored the spirit of our work, and you have honored the truth that we have brought to you, and you have watched what we have done, and you are investing in us because you believe in us, and we have proven ourselves in this community. And one last thing I'll say, the Louisville Urban League has also been able to raise other funds that we have shared with other smaller organizations, because we understand everybody doesn't have the infrastructure that we do. But hopefully over a 5-year period, we'll see more and more organizations grow, particularly those that are Black-led. And I mean good Black-led, because everything ain't always what it should be. Let's just be real. I don't support everybody, but I support everybody that supports the people that I serve, because our backs have been broken by bad policy, and this is the way to begin to fix that. Thank you for your courage. Lawson, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your investment. Thank you all so much.
All right, well, thank you too, Sadiqa. Those were beautiful words, and we definitely want to continue to support you. So next is Dr. Cosby, president of Simmons College.
I would first ask if those who are part of Simmons Nation, faculty, trustees, if you would stand at this time. Lawson and Ralph and Jill, many Christians wear a bracelet on their hand, around their wrist rather, and you will see the initials WWJD. And WWJD in Christian culture means, what would Jesus do? But when I wear my bracelet from this point on, please know it spells, what would Jack Daniels do? What would Jack Daniels do? For almost 18 years as the president of Simmons College, I have always shaken hands with philanthropic and foundational leaders like this. But because of Brown-Forman, I will now shake hands like this. Black teachers matter. And this infusion of money will help undergird our teacher education program, because black teachers matter. According to a study done by Johns Hopkins University, just one black teacher in the classroom increases the chances of a black child graduating from high school 36% and proceeding on to college at 16%, just having one black teacher or one aspirational role model, because black teachers matter. And the institution that produces black teachers is historical black colleges and universities. There are only 3% of the colleges in America are HBCUs, but these 3% produce 50% of all black teachers. And Louisville has an HBCU. Other communities wish they could, but they will never have one. There are only 101 HBCUs in America, and Louisville has one. Indianapolis may have Lilly, but they will never have an HBCU. Because to be an HBCU, you had to be in existence prior to 1964, and Louisville has an HBCU. If we want to bring in the best to our city, we must build up the best for our city. And this money is helping to build up the best so that we can bring in the best, because you can never attract eagles if your institutions are chicken coops. Thank you, Brown-Forman. And I close with a statement from history. I hold in my hand a book that was written in 1915. It's the biography of Booker T. Washington. And this is what it says. On its own initiation, the freed race began to found schools, to found them in their ignorance. It was a racial groundswell. About 5% of the emancipated people could read and write, and these were not slow to inject the spirit into the rest of their people. And by the time the states were ready to inaugurate a system of schools, no class was more responsive than the late slaves. Some of the former slaves who had heard of colleges and universities, but had never seen either, aspired to found such for their people. The most remarkable instance occurred at Louisville, Kentucky, where a group of unlettered ex-slaves met in an old building in August succeeding the close of the war in April 1865. And though bearing the marks of slavery on their bodies, and simply knowing that a university meant a place of learning, took steps to begin a school which gradually developed into what came to be known as State University of Kentucky, Simmons College, a large and flourishing college for colored people, which stands today in Louisville, with buildings and grounds in the heart of that city. Throughout the years from that early time till now, it has done excellent work, not alone for the colored race, but for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and is still a great educational lighthouse to a struggling people. And that was written over 100 years ago, and I'm glad to say that we are still an outstanding lighthouse to a struggling people. Thank you, Brown-Forman.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Cosby. Certainly hearing those words is inspirational, and I only wish the best for Simmons College going forward. So hopefully we continue to grow and be very successful here in town. I'm sure we will. So last, we have Dan Hall, who's the board chair of the West End School, who's going to share some of the things that we're going to be doing there. So.
Wow, what a glorious day. Thank God for this glorious day. First, let me congratulate all of the other recipients, the Urban League, AMP, Simmons College, LCCC, all doing tremendous work in our community, uplifting our community, and empowering our residents. So I want to say thank you, and God bless you. On behalf of the trustees, faculty, and staff of the West End School, I say thank you to the Brown-Forman Corporation. Thank you to the Brown-Forman Foundation. I especially thank you on behalf of our students and our families for this remarkable gift. Together, these two gifts represent the largest in the 17-year history of the West End School. They are more than just investments in our school. They are investments in the lives and future of our precious students. So I thank Brown-Forman Board Chair Campbell Brown, President and CEO Lawson Whiting, Senior VP Ralph DeShabir, and Foundation Executive Director Jill Horn. Thank you for deeming the West End School to be worthy of such a magnificent gift. The mission of the West End School is to provide a safe and structured environment for boys from pre-K through the 8th grade, in which academic rigor, character development, and responsible action set the foundation for a purposeful life. Simply put, we are about the business of providing confidence, character, and commitment to hard work, and providing a pathway to success. Thank you, Brown-Forman, for believing in our mission and understanding the impact that we have in this community. These phenomenal gifts will allow us to sustain our mission well into the future, and also will allow us to expand our mission to start serving girl students. Our doors will soon be open to serving girls. I think that deserves another round of applause. These grants will give us the financial resources to enable us to deepen our commitment to academic excellence and to better equip our students to navigate and strive in an increasingly complicated world. Pastor Cosby mentioned flying like eagles. Well, we have a mascot and symbol at the West End School, and that mascot is the soaring eagle. Pastor Cosby? The soaring eagle represents our school's vision, which is to enable students to, regardless of their circumstances, to achieve their highest potential. With this investment from Brown-Forman, we will have increased capacity to deliver on this promise. Because of Brown-Forman, our students will be on a trajectory to soar higher than ever. We are so proud of the many students and families we have been able to serve over the years. We are proud of the high school graduation rate of our students who attend some of the most prestigious public and private schools in our community. We can now boast that several of our alumni have graduated from college and have started successful careers. And let me quickly tell you about one of our alumni. His name is Kenny Gray. Kenny Gray not only has successfully completed college, Kenny Gray has not only embarked on a successful career in banking, but Kenny Gray has just recently joined the Board of Trustees of the West End School. Kenny, please stand to be recognized. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. We have a few other board members here. Will all the board members of the West End School please stand to be recognized? I see some standing over in the amen corner and some standing here. We have a terrific board. They're mission-driven and extremely passionate about educating our young men. So we thank you for your service. I especially want to thank Robert Blair, who's standing over in the corner, who along with his wife, Debbie, founded the West End School. I see our founding board chair and current board emeritus, Paul Perconti, who is here, and also Daryl Williams from Brown-Forman, who serves on our board as well. Daryl, thank you for being here as well. And last but not least, I want to recognize Mr. Dwight Bransford, our outstanding head of school, who's doing a remarkable job of leading our school, Dwight Bransford. I think he must have had to leave. But permit me to close on a very personal note. I was born and raised right here in the West End. Like so many of you, I care deeply for this community that helped to raise and nurture me. So it is personally gratifying and heartwarming that Brown-Forman has stepped up to make these major investments in our wonderful community. Brown-Forman has always been a supporter of the West End School from the very beginning. But to step up and to make this incredible gift is overwhelming. I'm also very excited that Brown-Forman has focused these investments on educating our people. It is generally known that education is the great equalizer. Education is the pathway to a fruitful and fulfilling life. I can personally attest to this truism because once I was a West End boy, just like the boys we serve. But education put me on a trajectory that took me from the West End to the heights unimagined in the legal profession, government, and education. Education indeed allowed me to soar. So thank you, Brown-Forman. Thank you for these investments which will broaden the horizon of the next generation of the leaders of our community. Thank you for encouraging them to dream big dreams. Thank you for laying the foundation for them to achieve their dreams. Thank you for giving them flight to soar like eagles. God bless.
Listen, I have a number of things that I'd like to say and a number of things that have been written for me to say. I think as you listen to all of the folks on this stage who have spoken, one of the things that becomes very clear to all of us is that there's no accident that we are desiring to partner with them in the way that we are. When you think about access, when you think about opportunities, when you think about equity, each of these organizations understand that those correlate to growth and development opportunities for all of our young people. And these organizations have demonstrated a real commitment over time to making sure that this journey from the cradle to college to career is real and that they are there with each of these young folks all the way. And with that in mind, it became easy to say, we need to be supportive of them because the truth of the matter is that each of these organizations, they know what the needs are. They know how to meet the needs. And what they're doing is they're giving us an opportunity at Brown-Forman to acknowledge the good work that they're doing. So much of this conversation has really been about thanks to Brown-Forman, and we certainly appreciate that. But part of what we need these organizations and what we need you to understand is that this is about them. This is about seeing them and seeing the good work that they're doing. This is about acknowledging that we see you. This is letting them know that they are engaged in transformational change, and we see it, and we want to be a part of it. And guess what? You don't have to ask for anything. We see you, and we want to acknowledge that this work matters and you matter. And I would just hope for a few minutes today, maybe you could just take a breath and just relax just for a moment, because I know that you're working like crazy, doing really good work out of the love that you have for the community that you serve. And thank you, and that's what we're trying to say here today. This is about Brown-Forman thanking you for your good work. And I would like to thank the board of directors of the foundation at Brown-Forman. Thank you for saying yes. You know. You know, I'd like to thank you, Lawson, for saying yes. And I know that I speak for many of the employees at Brown-Forman. I know that we care deeply and we want to be a part of this process. And, you know, some would ask, well, 10 years, and we know that that's a long time. But we also know that we're an organization that has a long-term focus. We're clear about that. We're clear about investing in the next generation. And what we're doing is we're providing an opportunity for that to happen. And hopefully, as we move along, recognizing that change doesn't happen overnight, but what I hope is that we can collaborate, we can co-create, we can engage in a way that says, over time, we're even going to demonstrate in significant ways that we can make a difference. These organizations are doing it now, and they will continue to do it, and we just want to be supportive of that. And so with that said, I can go on, and quite frankly, I was a nervous wreck coming up here today because I was saying to myself, don't you cry. And the reason for that is because when I was younger, I never understood tears of joy. I did not. I was too busy fighting and all the rest of that mess, and it's like, okay, you get beaten up, maybe you're going to cry a little bit. But tears of joy are what I'm experiencing right now. And all of you are a part of that. And all of the folks up here are a part of that. And I just want you to know that Brown-Forman thanks you. Thanks you. Thank you.
All right, let me wrap this up now I'm tearing up here. And I was not going to do this, but now I am, Ralph. For those of you who don't know, Ralph is retiring in just a few weeks after an unbelievable career at Brown-Forman. I will say out loud, no one has impacted me personally particularly on my journey through all this of no one has impacted me more than Ralph, and no one has impacted Brown-Forman more than Ralph on the diversity journey that this company is going through. And it's been pretty amazing, and he has opened up a lot of eyes, and he's changed a lot of lives, and we will never forget you.